Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan. He's in our Bristol County newsroom. Good morning, Mayor. Thanks for coming on. Nice to see you again.
No, thanks, Gene. Appreciate you having me on.
At the top of our show, we had a soundbite of you, Mayor, saying you're complaining that the rents are getting too high in Fall River. I know that could be a problem if certain people can't make the rent, but isn't that a good sign that people want to come to your city and live there and they're willing to pay for it? And when you get that railroad, the rents could go up even higher. So square the two.
Well, it's that kind of a cycle. I mean, we looked at our house values last year. They went up 14%. So Fall River is still a very good place to invest in, and our salaries are going up. But some people that need additional supports, for them the rent may be a strain, and we're working with them to try to keep them in our city and contributing to the community. But it does go up fast in some areas, and other places it's right on the button.
Yeah, well, what do you expect to happen when you do finally get that rail link up to Boston? That's supposed to be a game changer for the whole South Coast. In fact, I had Governor Healy on just a couple of weeks ago. Let me play what she's saying about that railroad. She says, I'm committed, and that's going to be a game changer for you and the cities around you. Let's play it. You listen, Mayor. Do you envision a real commitment to make sure that that rail connection is made from the South Coast up to Boston? We're talking about that for years.
Absolutely, and I have been committed to it for years. I think that is a really important thing. We've got to make sure we have great public transit around the state, including to and from the South Coast.
Mayor, I postponed my retirement just so I could report on that thing finally happening. What's going to happen to your city when that rail connection is made? Is it going to be a boom town, or are we overstating it? What is it?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a boom town, but I think it's going to definitely boost our local economy. It's going to make people that have to commute to Boston look at Fall River much more attractively. It's happened in a number of communities. We don't know what the final outcome will be, but it's all positive. We have a tremendous development going on right across from that terminal in Fall River, which is a huge investment, and that when that area comes together, it's really going to pop, and it's going to make Fall River a completely different place to live. And we're all waiting with bated breath to get on that train in the fall. Maybe you'll get on it with us, Gene, and take that first ride up to Boston.
Well, there's a couple of restaurants I want to check out that you've been telling me about. We'll do everything in one day. Now, okay. The governor told me, she assured me that she has a commitment to the South Coast. She's not going to forget about you. Have you gotten in her ear to tell her that, hey, we exist down here outside of Boston? What's your thoughts on that?
No, absolutely. The other day she invited me up to testify at a hearing in Beacon Hill. We have regular conversations. She has a strong commitment to the South Coast. She's been down a number of times. Kim Driscoll, her lieutenant governor, is a former mayor, so she knows exactly what the nuts and bolts are running a city in Massachusetts, and she's also been extremely helpful. And in Fall River, we're fortunate we got a great legislative delegation, so we have a lot of good pieces in place to help us going forward, and that's not even counting anything federal. So we're ready to move, and we're going to use them as our partners, and it'll be a team.
Nuts and bolts, you mentioned that. You know, Mayor Smiley, I just had him on, he said he can't recruit enough cops. Nobody wants to be a cop. They got beat up, defund the police, everything, the videos. You saw it all. Are you having the same trouble in Fall River?
Absolutely. We just modified our police academy payway. What we do now is we pay for them to go to the police academy as long as they give us a 5-year commitment to stay in Fall River and help us. We significantly upgraded the pay across the board. We were below most of the neighboring communities. So now we think we're in line to compete for the best people to be policemen in Fall River. Right. That's what it takes nowadays to get into this fight, because there aren't a lot of people taking the test. There's not a lot of people that want to be police, but we're trying to get the best of Fall River to help our residents. Absolutely. Let's move to schools. You were a longtime educator. You spent your life in the schools. I know you've had your challenges out there. That was a #1 priority for you when you came in at first. Update me. Well, we have a new administrative team in place. We've been moving along for a couple of years short of an assistant superintendent here, a principal there, and we still have a lot of moving pieces. Schools are in the same boat, Gene, as you described. Policemen, they're having trouble recruiting teachers. We still have open teacher slots if people want to come our way. We had to upgrade salaries there also. Obviously, we have a beautiful physical structure in Fall River. All of our schools are top shelf physically, but we need to work on our curriculum, we need to work on instruction, and we need to get a complete staff in here, and that's what we're going to be focused on coming up to this summer.
You know, you were in the schools for many, many years. Just describe for me, an old teacher's perspective, how have things changed? Social media, kids today, how has it changed? What do you remember, and where are we now?
Well, I think the kids are much edgier right now. I still think we're coming off that 2-year hiatus from COVID, and they haven't completely readjusted. The learning loss was devastating for some kids. The social emotional issues that are flowing into the schools now are just, in some cases, overwhelming people. We've added a number of adjustment counselors to work with our kids to try to coach them up, to get them to have the right behaviors to be successful in school and work and life. That's what I've noticed is the change in the kids. But with that being said, we love the kids in Fall River, and we're ready to work with them to get them to where they need to go. We're putting staff on that specialize in this kind of stuff, and the best thing we can do is coach them up and get them ready to join society. It's mostly, you know, that piece, Gene, would be what I look for. What's going on with the students? What's going on with instruction, and what's going on to give them the supports they need to be successful.
And what's going on with your business community? You know, Mayor Mitchell, who's coming up right after you in New Bedford, he's always on that waterfront, boy, talking about the wind turbines and other things, and he's got the fishing industry over there. Do you compete with him to grab your share, and what do you want to grab?
Well, we're actually a little different. We're really focused right now on our industrial park. We have a number of new buildings going in and businesses going in up there. We're waiting on one which we hope will break within the next few weeks. It's going to be a real catalyst for change in the north end of the city. We have no industrial space left in our city anywhere. We got a call the other day from a gentleman from New Bedford looking for 40,000 square feet, so I'm assuming that John's in the same boat. People are looking for space to locate in the South Coast region. This is a region, and New Bedford and Fall River partner together to make sure we grow the whole Bristol County area down, especially along this waterfront. We have people coming to us, Gene, and as nutty as it sounds, we really don't have space for them.
Mayor Paul Coogan, thanks for coming on. It's good to see you again. We'll have you on again.
Yeah, anytime, Gene. You know that. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Mayor.